please define tagged.
Grant, you're the author.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marco, you kind of hit it on the head with made in Chicago, shot in Chicago, with Chicago resources. That those principles are very central to our ethos at Kernel, remaining as hyper local as possible. We our objective is that our crew gets to sleep in their own bed at night. You know, we want to do everything in the city as much as we possibly can. And Tagged especially was sort of a love letter to the street art community in Chicago. It's a movie about it's narrative, obviously, so it's fictional about a Chicago street artist that is searching for clues to clear his name in local historic Chicago murals. So that's a premise and a story that doesn't work anywhere else. It has to be set in Chicago and filmed in Chicago because he's visiting. In this case, he visited 15 or 16 different Chicago murals. You can't film that in the suburbs. You can't film that in Vancouver. You can't, that has to be a Chicago told story, and that's really what it is. So there's a little bit of a twist to it involving social media as well, and so the name Tagged sort of takes on a double meaning in the sense of he tags buildings as graffiti. He as a graffiti artist, tagging is his signature, but in addition to that, he's a very old soul that eschews social media in all shapes and sizes, and sort of comes across a social media maven who is using his name and his work to tag without his interest. So there's a double meaning of the word tagged when it comes to the title.
I mean, it really is centering around that double entendre of tagged like graffiti and tagged like social media. To me, Alex is the lead in tagged. It is that brokering of the, I guess, literal physical art as well as the digital medium, and how those two things work in conjunction with each other, but also if you watch the film, how they work in opposition to each other as well. It really is a fascinating discussion of how, in a lot of ways, digital media is, I guess, forgive my language, in a sense, bastardizing a lot of what physical media does stand for. Whether or not that is just an organic process of how we are moving through different art forms, or if it is ultimately like a tactic of manipulation, like is represented in Tagged, or like is discussed in Tagged, I should say, is ultimately up to the viewer. It really is a strong piece to provoke the audience into questioning how they engage with different kinds of media, I should say.